You. Yeah, you. Before we get going, hit that subscribe button down below so you never miss another episode or another clip of 6 for 1. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let's get going. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 6 for 1, the show where we give you 6 shows for the price of one. My name is P.A.U.L. Paul. I will be your host on and your tour guide through this show of 6 shows. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, my name is Paul, and we are recording, not live, but we are recording another episode of 6 for 1. So Let's go. We're going to start today's show with a little bit of Smart Mark University. We did not get to this part last week. Last episode, I mean. We did not get to cover this, but I wanted to cover it today because it is very important in the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It was a very important thing. Big E broke his neck on SmackDown from a suplex outside of the ring, and that is a fucking bummer, dude. It really, really is. Thoughts and prayers go out to Big E. I hope his recovery is going well. That was a little over a week ago now. I think he had surgery, and I think he is recovering, but it always sucks whenever you see that. Like, that is... broken neck ain't nothing to fuck with, as they say. So I hope Big E is on the mend, and I hope he is doing all the right things to come back and entertain us the way he is meant to. So that has bothered me on this microphone thing. I should have done that before we started, but that thing has bothered me for the previous 3 or 4 episodes, whatever we've done now. So I just had to fix that real quick. But anyways, so yeah, Big E has a broken neck, so he is out indefinitely. That is a big old bummer. SmackDown was a couple nights ago, and Brock Lesnar was coming in hot with the forklift. We are going to watch this clip because this is way too funny not to watch, and this is a good one. So here we go. Roman Reigns directing traffic. You guys go to that side of the car. Yeah. I'm getting in on this side. Only in the WWE will you get Brock Lesnar in a cowboy hat, driving a forklift, smashing the windows out of an SUV where there are 4 passengers in that SUV. Brock Lesnar doesn't give a fuck. He just goes in there, breaks all the glass, comes in hot, tries to kill Roman Reigns. I love that when Roman Reigns, he sells it beautifully where he's, what the fuck? And then he gets in the car, it obviously ducks cover, boom, the thing comes in, and that's a cool thing. I like the way that they're kind of, it reminds me of those old, like the Undertaker Hogan things where, he took him on a slip and slide through the backstage on the back of his motorcycle. Kind of reminds me of that. It reminds me of they're kind of doing the Steve Austin concrete and the Corvette thing, and they're kind of doing, they're playing off a lot of those things and just destruction and everything that is good about World Wrestling Entertainment. So that is really cool. Last night, Pat McAfee cut 2 nights ago. Pat McAfee cut a hell of a promo on Friday Night SmackDown against Austin Theory. Told him to quit being a punk bitch. That is, I like Pat on the mic. He's very entertaining, and I think they're building this pretty well. I think there's reports out there that Vince is potentially going to get involved in the angle in the match. So we'll see how that shakes out. We are still about 3 weeks away from WrestleMania. So yeah, it is the 20th today. WrestleMania is on the April 2nd and the 3rd. So we are 2 weeks away. 2 weeks away from WrestleMania. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Pat McAfee Austin Theory thing, but kind of moving along now to the big news coming out of the world of professional wrestling sports entertainment is Cody Rhodes has signed with the WWE and is expected to make his debut before WrestleMania. And we're recording this on Sunday night, March 20th. So if he comes out on Monday Night Raw tomorrow night, that is not going to be a shocker, but he's expected to make his debut before WrestleMania, prior to WrestleMania, however you want to say it. This is big, right? This is big because, Cody Rhodes is really the first person from the AEW side. We've seen a lot of people go from, they get released from the WWE and then they go to AEW. And we've seen a lot of the jumping ship happen that way. Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Jericho. Like the list goes on and on of the guys who've been WWE guys and they have moved along to AEW now. This is the first time we're seeing it in reverse. So this is the first time that we are seeing, somebody who is a born and bred AEW, maybe not born and bred, that's a bad way to put it, but an AEW guy like Cody Rhodes is one of the first original members of AEW, and now he is moving back to the WWE. This is going to be interesting, I think, knowing the WWE and the relationship with the Rhodes family, I am halfway expecting Cody Rhodes to come out in polka dots or in Stardust. We'll see. He's either going to be the son of the plumber, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby, or he's going to come out, paint it up, Stardust, and do that thing. Actually, I really don't think he's going to do either of those two things. I think they're going to probably treat him with some respect and let him just be Cody Rhodes and let him do kind of what he does. And at least I hope so. Because I think that Cody is a really good talent. I think he will bring a lot to this WWE roster that is already pretty damn good. But Cody's going to bring a lot, and there's going to be a lot of interesting matchups, especially given the history of, he did leave. He went and started this AEW, which is now a thriving promotion, and now he's back to the WWE to kind of right the wrongs of what happened last time. I think that that's probably going to be the way they go with it, and the way that they tell that story. And that is something that is exciting, and it is I'm just excited to see how all that shakes out. So we will see what happens with Cody Rhodes. But like I said, I hope they don't give him some stupid Stardust gimmick or, make him wear polka dots or, like they did to the second most recognizable athlete in the world, baby, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. And that's like one of my favorite impressions to do, Dusty Rhodes. And like I said, it's big. This is big because we've seen it the opposite way. Now we're seeing it this way. Is this a sign to come? Is in 2024 when MJF, his contract is up and he is probably one of the best heel promos in the business right now. So is he gonna make that jump in 2 years when his contract's up? Are other guys going to make that jump at some point? Is there a market in the WWE for anyone on that AEW roster besides Cody Rhodes? I mean, like, we don't know. But this is a big step because it's just that first kind of going, we've seen a lot of jumping this way from AEW over here to the WWE over here, but now we're going to see it, WWE over here. I got that all backwards. We've seen a lot of jumping from the WWE over here to AEW over here, and people are jumping over here. Now we're seeing it the opposite way, and we're going to see people come back to the WWE who have been in AEW, who have made a career for themselves outside of the WWE, prove that you don't need the infrastructure of the WWE to be a successful professional wrestler. I think that this is probably, this is a big damn deal for the WWE, and it is something that I think, it could be a sign of things to come. We have yet to see that, and I'm just excited to see who else jumps over and kind of what else, what this does mean moving forward. I'm excited to see what it all looks like. So, Smart Mark University. That is that for today. That is another episode of Smart Mark University in the books. We are trying to kind of keep these shows to 10 minutes or less, just because we're trying to keep the entire show, the 6 shows, under an hour, or at least right at an hour, just for simplicity's sake, and there's a multitude of reasons, but we're trying to keep the whole thing under an hour, 6 shows for the price of 1 in under an hour. So with that being said, we are going to move along to Fighting Words, which is the premier show for all things UFC, all things MMA, specifically what is happening not inside the cage, but outside the cage, and what is happening kind of in the behind the scenes, if you will, or not even behind the scenes, but just kind of in the interview space and all that. So first of all, Kevin Holland, once again, is doing Kevin Holland things. He is this time restraining a shooter at a restaurant by putting him in a rear naked choke until the authorities arrive. Kevin Costner, Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland disarms gunman with chokehold at a Houston sushi restaurant. So Kevin Holland's out for sushi, having a good time. All of a sudden, there's an armed, shooter at this sushi place. Kevin Holland goes, "This is where I shine, bitch." And he gets up. He puts that motherfucker in a rear naked choke. And then he goes, "That's your problem, fuzz." And he said, "When I heard the big bang, I thought it was maybe the table behind me popping a champagne bottle because they were having a birthday party. Realized quickly it was no champagne when I turned around and seen people running, glass breaking. No, probably not champagne, pal. I grabbed the gun with the guy. We faced the gun down toward the ground, and then I'm like, we're upstairs. This shouldn't be facing down, so we pointed toward the bar and faced it up in the air. I pull him back, sit him in my lap, put him in a rear naked choke, and we choked him out." That's the most Kevin Holland thing I've ever heard. Yeah, choked him out, just subdued a live shooter. Crisis averted. So, thankfully, no one was injured, and that was the best outcome we could have. The public information officers, Shay Awasian told CNN. So, good for Kevin Holland once again, making the world a safer place, one chokehold at a time. That is a dope deal. So then we move along to Conor McGregor once again in the news, once again doing an interview with the Mac Life. He did an interview in his pub in Dublin, and basically the gist of the interview was my stout and my beer and liquor businesses are the best in the world, and I love that, by the way. I love that Conor McGregor comes out, makes that interview, and it takes full pride in what he's doing, takes full pride in his brands and his businesses and all of that. I love that out of Conor. But then the interesting part of that was he said that he wants to fight in his comeback fight. He wants to fight Kamaru Usman at 170. 170 makes sense to me because, you look at Instagram, whatever, he does look rather swole right now. So 170 is a fairly good move for Conor McGregor, I think. The question is, well, first of all, him fighting Usman for the title, who else is going to fight Usman? I know Leon Edwards is kind of in the running. Has that fight been booked yet? Leon Edwards versus Usman. Okay, yeah. So Leon Edwards and Kamaru Usman is targeted for July. So I'm thinking that Conor McGregor is probably going to come back right around that time, or maybe a little after that. Maybe he waits and sees how that fight plays out, or if Leon Edwards somehow does not make it to fight night in July, I could see Conor McGregor stepping up and being like, I'll fight him. I'll fight him, mate. Mate, I will fight that motherfucker, mate. Mate, you don't want none of this smoke. Where's the danger? Where's the fucking danger? But no, so I could see Conor McGregor kind of coming back and stepping up on short notice or something like that. But or I could just see the UFC throwing a curveball to all of us and saying, you know what? Fuck it. We're giving it to Conor. And there's not much we could really do about that because at the end of the day, the UFC is a business, and Conor McGregor does the biggest business for the UFC that we've ever seen. And I think that would be enough for them to just go, you know what? You get the shot. Not because you deserve it, but because you asked for it and because you're going to make a lot of money. So we'll give it to you. And Dana White, he here's how this is going to go. If Conor McGregor comes back and fights Kamaru Usman in his return fight for the belt, it's going to be one of those things where Dana White says, this kid has done everything that we've asked him to do. And, he says he's going to win a belt at 170, and we're going to let him try. That's going to be it. He's not going to come out and say it's because of the business, it's because of the numbers, but it is. But he's not going to say that. He's going to say that Conor McGregor has done everything he said he was going to do. He wanted the opportunity to be the first 3-weight world champion in the UFC, so we're gonna let him try. And what are we gonna do? Like, what's the we can make as many mean tweets and whatever as we want to, but at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. And the UFC is just going to do what the UFC does, which is big business. So I don't think it's really worth getting all that upset about. But I do think that Conor McGregor has a good shot at coming back at 170. Like, it wouldn't really make sense for him to come back at 155 and fight for the belt because, he's lost his last couple fights at 155. And so now he's coming back. And they wouldn't really be able to justify that one. But if he's going to a new division where, last fight he had at 170 was he beat Cowboy, and he beat Nate in 2016, also at 170. So, I think that Conor McGregor at 170, I think they'll be able to sell that a little bit better. I think they'll be able to kind of paint the narrative in the way that would make it make sense for everyone. Even if it doesn't make sense, I think that they would be able to kind of paint the narrative that it does. And so I think that's why that probably is Conor McGregor. If he's going to come back and fight for a title, it's probably going to be at 170 because that's what he wants, and he's big business, and the UFC can somewhat justify it, maybe. So there's that. Next up, we have Paddy Pimblett. Boy, why is that so hard? Paddy Pimblett got a big win last night at UFC London, which UFC London, by the way, from all accounts, sounds like a banger of a show. It sounds like the crowd was really into it. Aspinall got a big win. Molly McCann got a big win. And Paddy Pimblett got a big win. Paddy Pimblett is a motherfucking star. That kid is going to be a big star in the UK if he just keeps going the way he's going. And the fact that he looks different than everybody, the fact that he's kind of got that bowl cut haircut and he's just out there whooping ass and doing his thing, I think that he's going to be a star. And I think he's already a star. It's just that star is going to just continue to shine. And he's winning. He's winning. So, I think that there's a lot of upward potential for Paddy Pimblett. So there, I got it. Woo! Yes. But no, so yeah, Paddy Pimblett, he's just got to keep doing his thing. I really don't know where he goes next. I'll be interested to see that, but he's just got to keep doing his thing and keep doing what he's doing. So that is going to wrap up Fighting Words for this week. Now we are moving along to sports. uninformed, the best place for all the shittiest sports takes in the world, and that is what we do here. So let's do it. But let's see here. So I have my bracket here, and we are going to compare this to the actual bracket that is out there. And shit. Okay, so I picked in Gonzaga, Georgia State. I picked Gonzaga. Obviously, they came through. Boise State, Memphis. I picked Memphis. Memphis came through. UConn and New Mexico State. I picked UConn. I was wrong. New Mexico State won that one. Arkansas and Vermont. I picked Arkansas. Arkansas won. Notre Dame and Alabama. I picked Notre Dame. That one was correct. Texas Tech and Montana State. I did pick Montana State to have an upset, and I was wrong about that. So that kind of kills the West for me a little bit. But Michigan State, Davidson. I picked Michigan State. Michigan State won. Duke and Cal State Fullerton. I picked Duke, obviously, and Duke did win. So we're not doing too bad. Out of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out of 8 games, I picked 6 of them correct. So batting average is pretty good. Just throwing that out there. Now we move along to the East. Baylor and Norfolk State. I picked Baylor. Baylor did win. North Carolina, Marquette. I picked North Carolina. North Carolina did win. St. Mary's in Indiana. I picked... No, wait. St. Mary's in Wyoming. I picked Wyoming. Wrong. UCLA and Akron. I picked... Wait. Oh yeah, Indiana, Wyoming, Indiana. So I picked St. Mary's. No. What the fuck am I saying? I picked Wyoming, Indiana, and I was wrong on that one. UCLA and Akron. I did pick UCLA. I was right there. Let's see. Texas and Virginia Tech. I picked Texas. Texas did win. Purdue and Yale. I picked Yale in a big upset. And, of course, I was incorrect there. Purdue came through. So, and then San Francisco and Murray State. I picked San Francisco. Murray State win. Wrong again. Kentucky and St. Peter. I picked Kentucky. And in a big upset, St. Peter's won. So we are... that one was a little bit rougher. I picked Baylor. I picked North Carolina. I picked UCLA. I picked Texas. But other than that, I was pretty much wrong across the board. So no surprises there. Let's see. Arizona and Wright State Bryan. I picked Arizona. TCU and Seton Hall. I picked TCU. TCU won. Houston, UAB. I picked Houston. I was correct. Illinois and Chattanooga. I picked Illinois. Correct again. Boy, we are murdering the South. We are killing it in the South bracket here. Colorado State and Michigan. I picked Colorado State. Or no, I picked Michigan. I picked Michigan and Michigan won. Tennessee and Longwood. I picked Tennessee. Tennessee did win. Whew. Ohio State and Loyola Chicago. I picked Ohio State. They won. Villanova and Delaware. I picked Delaware. I was wrong there. So we are 7 out of 8 in the South. But you know what? That's still a pretty damn good average for not knowing shit. So then we move along to the Midwest. Kansas and Texas Southern. I picked Kansas. San Diego State and Creighton. I picked Creighton. I was right there as well. Iowa and Richmond. I picked Iowa, which is a bad idea because as somebody who grew up in an Iowa Hawkeye household, if you know one thing about the Iowa Hawkeye basketball team, they fucking suck. So they choked. No surprise there. Richmond won. I was incorrect. I knew I shouldn't have picked them, but you know what? Whatever. Let's see. Providence and South Dakota State. I picked South Dakota State. Wrong there as well. Iowa State and LSU. I did pick Iowa State right there. Wisconsin and Colgate. Wisconsin, I was right there as well. USC and Miami. I picked USC. Incorrect there. And then Auburn and Jacksonville State. I did have Jacksonville State going on a little bit of a run, and I was incorrect. Auburn took them down. So a little rough in that one, but you know what? It is what it is. It is what it is. And then let's move along to the games that have been played. So Gonzaga and Memphis. I picked Memphis. Gonzaga won. Incorrect. New Mexico State and Arkansas. I had Arkansas winning that one. Yeah, that one's fucked. Notre Dame, Texas Tech. Let's see. Baylor, North Carolina. I did pick this game incorrectly. North Carolina won. I had Baylor winning that one. I had Kentucky beating Yale. And let's see, where would that be at? That's way down the line. Okay, so we're going to wait until we have more results on that. But as far as March Madness goes, I would say I'm batting probably about 700, maybe 600. So, hey, not bad for an idiot, huh? Not too shabby for someone who knows absolutely nothing. So, also, I also want to talk about all the moves happening in the NFL. Devontae Adams going to the Raiders. Lamar, no wait, what's the guy's name? Deshaun Watson going to the Browns. The whole Baker Mayfield drama. Everybody is moving in the NFL. Once all these moves are kind of done, and once everything's kind of shaken out, I'm going to look at the landscape. We're going to right now we're kind of in the March Madness time frame, but once all this kind of shakes out, once we kind of have, you know, a good outlook on what's happening and who's going to be where, then I am going to go through and I am going to make a pick for a team, and then we are going to follow along and perhaps make some bets on that team, and we are going to just follow that team for the entire NFL season and see how we do. And I'm going to be the biggest fan of whatever team that I pick. So beware. So now we move along to our fourth show on the show of 6 shows, and that is Teachings of Titans. We are back with another episode of Teachings and Titans. This is one of my favorite segments that we do here on the show because this is most akin to what I enjoy about social media. I follow a lot of self-improvement stuff. I'm a big geek for this stuff. So Teachings of Titans is just my way of kind of finding good stuff. And I'm going to put it on here, and we're going to just kind of talk about it and talk about sort of the message behind it and all that. So we are looking today at the one, the only, Nipsey Hussle. And we are going to start with a quote that I love and that I have said to myself a lot over the last 6 months or so, and it's really helped me out as far as like just figuring out what are the right moves to make for myself, what are the right things I need to be doing for me, and as far as like business wise and career wise and all that. So here we go.
You know, I read one time, like, would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? And that was powerful for me.
Would you rather be at peace with the world and at war with yourself, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? Nipsey Hussle had some fucking gems, dude. When and God rest his soul, he was taken from us way too soon. But he had some gems in his time on Earth, and that's one of them. You know, and that's something that I try to think about whenever I'm making moves or whatever. Is like, am I doing this because this is what I think other people want me to do, or is this what I'm doing because this is what I want to do for myself? And are you at peace with everything in your life right now? And are there areas in your life that you are not at peace with? And if so, what can we do to correct that? So that like I think about it like I need to feel good about everything I'm doing, and if I don't feel good about it, then even if other people feel good about it, then who cares? Like it doesn't really matter. So I love that from Nipsey Hussle. It's that's a powerful quote. Would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? And it's something that has really kind of helped me along my journey in life, and especially these last 6 months where I'm trying to figure out what my next move is and all this stuff. Thinking about what do I want? What do I want to do? What do I want life to look like? And not like what do I want my parents? What do my parents want my life to look like? What do my friends want my life to look like? What do I want it to look like? And I have to be at peace with that. And if I'm not at peace with that, then we got to change something. And yeah, I mean that's just something that I love and that is really really cool. So and we are going to stick with Nipsey Hussle for this next part. And we are going to go to another quote of his that I really, really like. And so let's start that right now.
You are going toward what the vision look like, and that's like greatness. That's, on multiple levels. That's the vision that I'm working toward. So I'm like, I just think about that. Like, this shit ain't supposed to feel, comfortable. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's supposed to stretch you. It's supposed to be a burden to a degree. And you gotta, wrap your mind around that and accept it and embrace it. And you catch the wisdom off of that.
Catch the wisdom off of that. Yeah, I mean, listen, when you're working toward a goal and you're working toward making your life better and making, the world around you a better place and adding something to the world and doing new ideas or, pursuing new ideas and doing things that have never been done before, it's not supposed to feel comfortable. You're not supposed to feel like, oh man, this is, I just feel really good about everything all the time. And like, it's not supposed to feel like that. Like there's going to be days where it doesn't feel good. There's going to be days where you have to force yourself to do whatever it is that you have to do. There's going to be days where you question it. There's going to be days where you question yourself. There's going to be days where you question everything because when you're doing something that stretches your limits and changes your limits, I talked about that in the very first episode, changing limits. Like, when you do something that stretches those limits and stretches what you're capable of and stretches what you're about and what's on your plate, it's not going to be like a walk in the park. It's not just going to be sunshine and rainbows from the word go. Like it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. You're going to question it. You're going to have days where it feels like shit. You're going to have days where, but the challenge is, understanding that and then kind of moving past it and being like, okay, I know I feel like crap today, but I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep working towards this. I'm going to keep pursuing whatever your thing is, like whatever it is for you and whatever it is for whoever's watching this, whatever it is for you, you just have to keep working on it, even on the days that you feel like shit, even on the days where you're discouraged, even on the days where you feel like it's never going to work. Even on those days, you just have to have enough kind of composure to go, okay, no. I know it feels like everything is going to shit right now, but this is worth it. I enjoy doing this, and so I'm going to keep going. And if you quit, you'll never be able to see what's on the other side of that, and you'll never be able to see kind of what it was meant to be in the first place. And so that's something that I try to remind myself of that, because like doing this show or making the YouTube videos that I was making for a little while, or doing social media stuff or whatever, and just trying to build my business and doing all this stuff, like it's not supposed to feel like it's not supposed to feel like a walk in the park. It's not supposed to feel like every day is just the best day ever, and it's I didn't think we could do it, but today's better than yesterday, And it's not going to be like that every day. You're going to have down days. You're going to have days where you feel discouraged. You're going to have days where you feel like shit. But then on the other side of that, you're also going to have days where you feel really good about everything. You're going to have days where you are super motivated. You're going to have days where, everything just seems easier. And so, be grateful for those days, but also on the days you feel like shit, don't stop on the days you feel like shit. You still have to keep going. You still have to push through that. But it's not supposed to just be like, oh yeah, I'm really motivated every single day. I'm really excited about everything that life has to offer. That's just not how this is supposed to go. And I wish more people knew that and accepted that and just would wrap their mind around that. That like, hey, like if you want to do something, a lot of people are okay with a life of comfort, and that's okay. But like, those people are never going to stretch what they're capable of. They're never going to stretch what they're, what they do in life. They're just going to kind of stay stagnant. And like, that's okay. Like some people are happy doing that. I would not be happy doing that. And I know I wouldn't be happy doing that because I've done that and I was not happy doing that. So it's like, you kind of just have to figure yourself out and also understand, the journey that you're on and what that's going to look like realistically on a daily basis. The daily basis of it is, everybody likes the ideas and the debuts and everything like that, but like it's not going to feel good every single day. You're going to have days where you feel like absolute dog shit. And it's just, you got to get through them. You got to get through them, and you got to just understand that this is all part of the journey. It's all a part of the journey. And you have to actually embrace those days and say, yeah, I feel like crap, but you know what? We're going to get through it. We're going to not let this define this project. We're going to not let this define, what we're about. We're not going to let this define ourselves as, who we are, and not let it spiral into something that it shouldn't be, which is like, just quitting. And so I love those two quotes from Nipsey Hussle. R.I.P. to Nipsey Hussle. He is. I was introduced to Nipsey Hussle through stuff like that. Like, I was not introduced to him through his music. I was introduced to him through stuff like that. So like, that is the kind of stuff that has real impact on me and on, I'm sure, a lot of people. And so I just really appreciate his perspective on a lot of things. So rest in peace. But thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the teachings, my Titan. I appreciate it. So now we are going to move along yet again to an episode of Fitness Freaks, the freaks of fitness, brother. This was in the last time I did a fitness thing on here. It was called Fitness Friday. We are renaming it to Fitness Freaks just because I do not want it to be beholden to a specific day. I want to be able to talk about fitness on whatever day I choose to. And so that's what we're going to do. And today I just want to talk about this idea that, like, you're not going to get in fitness in any, this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about of, like, it's supposed to feel uncomfortable. It's supposed to not feel good. But like, in fitness, when you first start, working out, and when you first start going to the gym, and when you first start trying to kind of improve your health and improve your body and, working on your body, you're not going to get it right off the bat. Like, it's actually almost impossible to get it right off the bat. Like, you can think yourself to death about, like, what's the right way to do this? What's the best approach? What's the best this? What's the best that? What's the best, what's the perfect form of this? I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to look like a loser. I don't want everybody looking at me in the gym like I don't know what I'm doing. Let me just tell you guys this. Everybody who you see in the gym who's obviously been doing it for a long time and who obviously knows what they're doing, they all started, myself included. I would say that, like, am I perfect in the gym? No, but like, I do have a good, repertoire of things that I do pretty well. And I do think that, like, I know what I'm doing in there, and I know what I'm doing when I, when I go to lift weights or when I go to do cardio or whatever, I know what I'm doing, and I have a plan for those things. But if I go back to when I was 17, 18 years old and I was first getting interested in being in the gym, first getting interested in fitness, and first getting interested in all this stuff, like I didn't get any of it right. Like I remember one of the first times I tried to do T-bar rows, I had I didn't have, it wasn't like a T-bar row machine. It was just like, I had one of those like triangle grips for the cables, and then I put it around the bar and I went to do a row, boom, and the plate just came and hit me right there. I started bleeding in the middle of the gym. Looked like an absolute idiot. And and like that's just, I mean, like all that stuff is just part of it. Like I said, it's just part of the journey. Like you're never gonna get it right off the bat, and like you're never gonna be like, yeah, I'm going to the gym today and I'm gonna do deadlifts perfectly. I'm gonna do rows perfectly. I'm gonna do all this stuff absolutely perfectly. Do the best you can. Absolutely watch what other people are doing. Try to emulate good form. Try to if you can do a little bit of research before, do that. But I wouldn't like spend a whole ton of time being like, I want to learn how to do this first before I go into the gym. I want to watch all these YouTube videos about the theories of lifting weights, and you're only really going to learn one way, and that's by doing it. That's by fucking starting. Like, you can read as many things and watch as many YouTube videos and do whatever as you want to, but at the end of the day, if you don't start, you're never going to learn how to do it right, and you're never like, if you want to be the person that appears to know what they're doing in the gym and or the person who knows what they're doing in the gym, you have to start by being the person who doesn't know what they're doing in the gym. Like, you have to start by not knowing, and then you just have to, but the key is you have to start. Like, you're not just going to start and automatically be at level 6. You have to start at level 1, and then you learn a little bit, you get to level 2, and then, you kind of you learn a little bit along the way. You learn every single time you get in there of like, oh, I did this well this time, but I could have done this a little bit better, or this didn't feel quite right. Maybe what can I do to make that a little bit better? And you just kind of start, figuring it out one step at a time, one issue at a time. And before you know it, you've got a good repertoire of things that you can do, and you know what you're doing. And it's just like, so many people just get so hung up on like, well, I don't know what I'm doing, and it just seems like such a tall task, and it seems like everybody else knows what they're doing, and I just don't know what I'm doing, and it's just like this sob story. And it's like, dude, none of us knew what we were doing when we first started. Like me or anybody else who's like about that life fitness wise, like none of us knew what we were doing when we first got started, but we just got started and we figured it out along the way. And that's what you have to do. And that doesn't matter whether you're 18, whether you're 25, whether you're 30, whether you're 40, whether you're 65. Like, it doesn't matter. You just have to start, and you just have to be like, okay, I'm gonna get a little bit better in this workout than I was in the last workout, and I'm just gonna do things a little bit better this time than I did last time. And if you do that over the course of a year or 6 months or whatever, like, let's say 6 months, because that seems less daunting than a year, right? Like, if you just commit to, okay, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to start, and I'm just going to figure it out as I go. And I'm just going to, and one of the things that I heard recently, I forget where I heard it, but like, if you're feeling like a little insecure about like not knowing what to do in the gym, go in there and just make it a point to make yourself to do everything wrong. Like, do everything wrong when you first start, and be like, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do everything wrong today. And then that's a really good base, because there's nowhere to go but up, right? Like, there's nowhere to go but learning more and improving upon that. And then the next workout, you go, okay, I'm going to do one less thing wrong. Then, okay, I'm going to do one less thing wrong. And then before you know it, you're doing everything right, or you're doing 90% of it right. There's still things I do in the gym on a regular basis that are wrong, but I do them. I just do them because it's like, first of all, it's habit and it's laziness and it's, whatever. But like, there's things I do in the gym that I maybe shouldn't do, or that's probably a bad example. But like, you're just not going to get it right off the bat. Like everybody who goes to the gym or whatever, there's no like teacher. Like unless you went through like a really rigorous athletic program or whatever, like, and the number of those people is pretty damn small. Like unless you went through one of those programs where they taught you how to lift and they taught you how to do all this stuff, like there's no teacher for this shit. Like there's nobody who's going to come hold your hand and say, oh, this is how you do it. This is how you do this, and this is how you do that, and this is, there are people like that. They're called personal trainers, and you can go hire those people. But if you don't want to pay for that, you can just kind of figure it out as you go. And I'm always on the side of figuring it out as you go. That's kind of how I live life, and that's kind of how I do things. But like, if you want to pay for a trainer, pay for a trainer. They will do that, but not everybody has the means to do that. So if I can end this with one message for people who are looking to get into fitness and looking to improve their life, looking to get in the gym, I would say just fucking start. Just start. Just start going and go every day or go every other day or go 3 times a week or whatever you decide is like reasonable for yourself and that you can stick with for a long period of time. Like just do it and just start and you'll figure it out as you go. But like, don't expect to have all the answers right away. Don't expect to do everything perfect right away because you're not gonna. It just isn't gonna happen. It's damn near impossible to do everything perfect right off the bat. It really, really is. So that would be my thing is like, just start. Not to steal Nike's phrase, but just do it. Just do it. But yeah, listen, and that's how, and like, there are things that you can read and there are things that you can do to kind of improve your knowledge and make yourself kind of, a better, at a better starting block than maybe you are right now. Like there are things you can read, but don't spend so much time reading about it and trying to figure it out beforehand that you delay doing it. Like you got to start. Like you just have to do it. And you just have to do it, and you just have to figure it out as you go. Like, that's just, I think a lot of people will tell you that. Just do it. Try to avoid getting hurt. But at the end of the day, like, if you can do it, and you can keep the weight light and keep your ego in check, like, that, you're on the right path. And, like, if you just start with, a small ego and say, okay, I'm going to do everything wrong today, and I'm going to be okay with that, then, like, you're on the right path. And I think that is... it's important. It's important. And that's what I would leave you guys with on this episode of Fitness Freaks is just fucking start. And don't think too much about it. Don't overthink it. Don't get in your head. Just start. Just start working out. Just do something. And you'll figure it out as you go. I promise you. We all do. We all have. It just is, but you do have to start. Alrighty, so now we are moving along to this little segment I like to call Freestylin. And like I said in the last one, yes, that is me up there on the screen doing my little breakdance thing. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying, bruh? And so this is just my little opportunity to kind of talk about whatever I want to talk about. And today I do want to just kind of cover, you probably saw me wearing this Dodgers hat. I am probably the biggest Dodgers fan in the world. No. Yeah, that was a lie. I lied straight to your face and you ate it up. So, that's on you. But no, so this Dodgers hat, I bought this a few years ago. And the reason I bought this is because A, fashion, duh. But B, when I was young, when I was like 12, 13 years old, I was on a little league team and we were the Dodgers. And we fucking sucked. We were so fucking bad. we had 12 games in the season, and we went 0-12 for 3 consecutive seasons. Think about how bad you have to be as a team to go 0-12 for 3 straight years. Pretty fucking terrible. And that being said, I didn't even play. I was so bad that I didn't even play like all the innings in those games. I sat the bench a lot on a team that sucked. So what does that say about my baseball experience? Nothing good. So this Dodgers hat, we went 0-12 for 3 years straight. And, you know, you might be thinking to yourself like, oh, you guys went 0-12, 3 years straight. Why would you buy a Dodgers hat to commemorate that? That's a good point. But I did it because it's like, I know what came out of that, out of going 0-12 for 3 straight years. And then my last year on that little league team, we were a little bit better, but I was not a big part of that. I was kind of over baseball at that time. But that was kind of like the beginning of me kind of putting the chip on my shoulder of like, you got something to fucking prove here. Like you're really going to be, you're really going to be the guy that went 0-12. Is that, you want to do that? You want to stick with this? It just it reminds me of the fact that like all the stuff I'm doing right now in life should not be happening. Like I'm not an athlete. I'm not I wasn't a VAR, I wear this just to like, it's kind of a funny thing. Like, and then it's kind of a conversation piece. Like, oh yeah, I went 0-12. I was on the Dodgers, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of a funny story you can tell people, but also at the same time, like for me, it just represents the chip on my shoulder and like having something to prove, never being satisfied, always just pushing and pushing and pushing. And just kind of having that mentality that it's like that dog, like when you go 0-12, like we lost 36 games in a row over the course of 3 summers. Like we lost 36 fucking games in a row. Like that's about as low as it gets in an athletic career. That is about as shitty as it gets. And I just remember being like, well, there's really nothing to lose. Going into every game with like, there's really nothing to lose because we suck. So we were really trying to win every game, but we were so fucking terrible. Awful. But no. So the Dodgers hat, that's just a little funny story from me life. From me life, mate. From me life. This is me life, mate. But no, so yeah, I just like wearing the Dodgers hat because it's like, oh, you're from LA? No. But boy, do I got a story for you. And then kind of the last part of this whole freestyling thing, I just want to talk about opportunities. And recently I've been presented with some really cool opportunities to do really cool things and to kind of just opportunities to kind of advance in life. And, I made a video for the D Hart Company, which by the way, this show is a D Hart Company production, as you can see right there. But I made sort of the first video that I ever did when I said, okay, I'm gonna leave my job, I'm gonna start this company, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I made this video from Tennessee, and we went to Tennessee last year. Me and the boys went to Tennessee. And I got a lot of cool footage, a lot of drone stuff, a lot of whatever. And I made this video. And in the video, I said, like, if you are not being presented with opportunities, sometimes you have to kick the door in and make your own opportunities. And that is true. Like sometimes like I was in a position where I was in a job that I fucking hated. I was miserable on a regular basis. The only thing I liked doing in life was going out with my friends and working out. I mean, that was pretty much it. And I got in incredible shape doing that. Like I was in probably the best shape I've been in a long time during that time, because it was the only thing that really like brought happiness to my life. And, you know, as sad as that sounds to say, like as much as that sucks, but like, I got to a point like right around this time last year, like it was like almost a year ago. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck everything about this. I was, you know, my job at the time was a corporate 9 to 5. And I just was like, you know what? I'm either going to leave here or I'm going to get fired because I'm terrible at this job. I hate it. There's nothing about it that I like. And I'm just done. I was just spent at that time. And so I was like, you know what? I've always had this idea of a media company and doing that whole thing. And so I was like, let's make some moves. And I was lucky enough to be in a position where I could make some moves. And so I did. And I started making my own opportunities and just taking gambles on myself, betting on myself and saying, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need you fuckers. I'm out. And that's a little vulgar. I apologize. But that was my mentality at the time. So I'm just trying to be 100% honest. But no, so like, I mean, it's crazy to think about the last year too, because like it was quit my job in March, started a new job that I really enjoy in like June, July time. And, you know, now I'm being presented with opportunities that are kind of everything I've wanted to do for a long time. And it's something that I'm grateful for. It's something that I do not take for granted. I'm very excited, you know, about the prospects of these opportunities. I can't really talk about it too much, but yeah, I mean, like leaving corporate America and leaving kind of my career in insurance behind and you know, forging out on my own and doing all this stuff, like it took some balls to do, number one, but also like I didn't feel like I had another option. Like I was like, I cannot stay here. I cannot continue doing what I'm doing. Because if I do, I'm going to just implode at some point. Like it's just not going to end well for me in this. And so I was like, I have to leave. And I was like, you know what? I'm 24. I was 24 at the time, 25 now. I was like, I'm 24. If there's ever a time to kind of go for stuff and try to make some stuff happen, it's fucking now. And I don't want to live with any regrets. I do not want to live with any, what if I had done this? What if I had done that? You know, what if this? What if that? I didn't want to live with that. I didn't want to live with the, you know, the sting of that kind of like regret and that kind of like, you know, just thinking about it and thinking about, you know, imagine if I had done that. I didn't want to do that. And I wanted to go, okay, you know, I try, if it fails, it fails. But like, I just wanted to at least try and at least give it my best shot at doing it and doing what I thought was really going to bring me happiness and bring me fulfillment. And if you're out there and you're watching this, first of all, thank you so much. But second of all, if you're out there and you're watching this and you're sitting in a job that you hate and you're not, you know, you don't feel like you have any options and you don't feel like you can really make anything happen, just start small and just ask yourself, what would you like doing? What do you think would actually bring you happiness on a regular basis? And then try to work backwards from that to be like, okay, now what, you know, how can I get there? Okay, well, I can do that. I can, I don't even know a good example of that, but like, you know, it just is like, if you're sitting in a job that you hate and you don't like where the direction your life is taking, change something. Change something. It doesn't matter. Like either get a second job that you enjoy that can at least make you tolerate this first job and hopefully, you know, turn into something or just leave that job altogether and get a new one or whatever. Like it just change something. Change something. If you're in a relationship you hate, if you're, you know, whatever, change something because you will never regret changing something to pull yourself out of a miserable situation, but you will regret not doing it if in 3 years or 2 years or a year, you're still fucking miserable. You will regret that. And so, yeah, I mean, I just am so thankful that I did that a year ago. And I'm so thankful to the 2021 version of Paul that actually decided to be like, let's make a change here, and let's go try some things at least, and let's go like try to see if we can make some things happen, and you know, let's go pursue some of these ideas that we've had for a long time and have never taken any action on. Let's go do some of those things and let them live or die by the results. But like, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. And if you're in a position that you hate, it is worth a shot to make a change. And it's worth a shot to try something new and do something that will bring you happiness and will bring you fulfillment. And I believe in that. I believe in that shit. And like, at the end of the day, like, if one person sees this and makes a change in their life because of something that I'm saying right now, that's a win. It's a win for me. Like, I'm more than like, I'm just flattered that would even happen, but like at the same, like, and humbled that would even happen. But like, that would be a win for me, that if one person sees this and goes, you know what, I'm miserable in what I'm doing right now. I need to make a change. I would rather be doing this, or I'd rather be in this field or whatever. I see somebody doing this. That looks fun. And also just try some shit. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But like, you got to at least try. Like, you got to at least put yourself out there and try it. And if it fails, who cares? Who gives a fuck if it fails? Who gives a fuck if you know, people think you're crazy? Like, I'm sure people think I'm fucking crazy on a regular basis. I am 100% positive of that. But like, I don't really care, because like, I'm just trying to make moves that I think are smart. And again, it goes back to that Nipsey Hussle thing. Would you rather be at peace with yourself and at war with the world, or at war with yourself and at peace with the world? Like, it's the same thing, the same concept. Like, you have to do what makes you happy. And if what you're doing right now does not make you happy, quit doing it. Simple as that. And find something else to do. You know, the world is, and also, you might have to change your mindset to be like, well, there's nothing else I can do. Well, there's actually a lot that you can do. There's a lot of companies out there who do a lot of different things, and there's things that companies do that you can't even, you would look at and go, I can't even believe that's a job. I can't even believe this is a real thing. And there's something out there for everybody. And I think that there's enough opportunities out there where nobody needs to be in a position where they hate their lives on a regular basis. But it's on you. It's on you to kind of make those changes and do what you need to do to dig yourself out of whatever hole. And, you know, that's pretty much the bottom line. So we are going to wrap things up there. This is 6 for 1. If you have made it this far, yet again, I say thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. My name is Paul. You can follow me personally on social media at ApaulWorld. You can follow this show at 6 for 1 Show on Instagram, and I believe it's 6 for 1 on TikTok, like you see on the screen, not 6 for 1, the words, but just like you see on the screen with the 6, number 4, 1. And yeah, if you subscribe to this channel so that you never miss a new video, and I would greatly appreciate that. If you find this stuff valuable, please do subscribe, because there will be more where this is coming from, and there will be more stuff just like this all the time. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I'm out.